Moms and soon-to-be moms know the importance of reading to your baby and toddler. Educator, consultant, and parenting coach Chrissy Kochny joins us today for our Mommy Monday segment. It's a tongue twister. Great to have you here, Chrissy.
Good morning.
So how did you become a parenting consultant?
So I, after spending a number of years in education, both in the classroom and administration, found myself more and more enjoying the opportunity to connect with parents and to enable them with information. So with the birth of my first son and taking that little time away from the daily grind, I found myself wanting still to be connected with parents and working in education, but moving more and more towards helping parents and helping parents either navigate the education system or navigate the day-to-day.
Sure. And day-to-day probably should incorporate some reading into it, correct?
Absolutely. It's amazing. With literacy, you really can't start too early.
Like from birth, start reading?
From birth. With our oldest son, we were reading to him at 6 weeks of age.
Right.
And it starts out pretty simply and kind of helping him just become familiar with text. But now the two of them, we have a second son now, they're inseparable from their books, and it's a big part of our family culture.
So you have some tips for parents on how to get started, and first you say kind of to incorporate picture books.
Absolutely. Some of the young children really learn about their world from sensory experiences. And so one of the things that is really easy for them to do is just to interact with an actual picture.
Sure.
And I have one book here that's a great example of a picture book that has some texture to it that they can feel and they can take advantage of. But when you open it up and take a look, it's really simple texts and colorful, vibrant pictures that just gets them familiar with books, left to right, colors, images, and that kind of a...
And kind of be able to make a personal connection with these books, right?
Absolutely. That's another great strategy because children, again, learn through making connections. So whether it's you went to the zoo last week and you want to read a book about animals and you start to ask them a little bit about what do you remember from the zoo or what animals were your favorite, you can use picture books to help kind of further that.
Sure, and also make predictions as you're reading, kind of talk through it with your child?
That's a big thing, and it's something that we do a lot at home, and the key is really to ask open-ended questions to engage your child in the text. So questions like, why do you think this character feels like X?
Sure.
Or what do you think is going to happen next, to make those predictions about what they guess would happen next in the story, but they don't necessarily know yet. It keeps them interested and keeps the story kind of moving along.
You already talked about kind of bringing in background knowledge into it and background events, but ask open-ended questions?
You want to take advantage of what is in the story. So you want to take advantage of, for example, if we go back to this example of the circus ship, what the story kind of starts out with the ship having a big accident. So what do you think is going to happen to these animals?
Sure.
Where do you think they're going to go? Things that get them thinking about possibility.
Might even change the storyline too a little bit, right?
And sometimes you go on very long tangents and you don't. It takes a little while to make your way back. But it really fosters creativity and again just keeps them really engaged, which for toddlers can be tricky.
But it's fun, ultimately,
Ultimately,
right?
it's all about fun.
I mean, these are adventures every time you open a book.
Absolutely, yeah, and another strategy too has to talk about kind of finding their entry point and their connection. And listen, we all know the kind of New England winter we had this year.
Sure.
So a book like The Snowy Day, which is a classic, in our house became a favorite this winter because waking up and more snow on the ground and will there be school is, it's that kind of also rereading of stories and reconnecting with them that helps them to sort of just find a love of reading.
Sure. Chrissy, what happens if the toddler or your baby doesn't want to sit still and just has no interest?
That's a good question. And my second guy is definitely a mover and a shaker. And some of the strategies we use when he was younger are just simple things like asking them to can you find the mouse on the page? Asking them to identify an object, or do you see something that's blue? Or what color do you see? So finding a simple way for them just to connect. And if you don't make it through a whole book,
That's okay.
That's okay.
You can try
The
again
point
later.
is just to start the behavior, to start the exposure, and to make it part of your daily routine.
Sure. Chrissy, just give us your website so we can find all of these good tips.
Sure. It's strongtots.com.
Okay.
And yes, we have tips on reading and just all sorts of different, our adventures become sort of the foray for all sorts of fun.
Very good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Ryan, we'll send things over to you in the kitchen.